Hi, been a while since I've checked in. Been a bit of a journey. I'm a bit groggy, bit out of sorts. What's been happening is I had that operation Wednesday. Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. It's now Saturday, and the operation itself went well. Um, I didn't come out of the anaesthetic well, and very groggy, very nauseous. Unfortunately, it took 4 different medications to get rid of the nausea, but the last medication then sent me into tachycardia and the essential tremor. It sent that off the charts, so wasn't very well Friday evening. No, sorry, Wednesday evening at all after the second operation. Um, Eventually sent me home. Then, unfortunately, Thursday morning, I got a phone call saying that they had taken the wrong part of the breast tissue during that operation, and could I go back in for another operation, a third operation, in the next 2 hours. So that's what we did. So Thursday I was back in for a third operation. Um, Whatever checks and procedures they had in place to make sure that the right breast tissue was taken, um, I was told that the computers were playing up and stuff like that, and even though that's not an excuse, there was the final check wasn't done on that second operation to see where they were taking the tissue. So they ended up taking part of the tissue that didn't need to be taken. So they had to go back in a third time and get the right tissue. Fortunately, this time they did all the anaesthetics differently, and I did come out better, but they kept me in overnight. So ended up getting home at lunchtime yesterday. So the body's feeling it. Today it's I'm very tired. I'm very groggy. I just feel pretty shit, really. The wound in the breast doesn't really look any different to what it did before both operations, which is great, because it wasn't a lot of tissue that they needed to take. But I certainly did not need a third operation on top of the other two. Um, so that's what's going on. That's why I've been a bit quiet, and just need some more time to rest and stuff like that. Just an observation I want to make is while I was in there, there were a number of other women in there for breast cancer as well. This is just everywhere. This is everywhere. One lady, it was her for my second operation. It was her first operation while I was there. When I was there for the third operation, I shared a room with a lady who had had a full mastectomy a month ago, and she had gotten an infection in the site, and had to come back for another operation. And the breast cancer is everywhere, and it's it's heartbreaking to talk to these women. I had a good chat to the lady who shared the room with me overnight about her situation, and she's a single mum with 2 kids, and so her kids are being ferried around to relatives and all of that sort of thing. And I asked her if she could afford some of the complementary therapies to try and help her, because she was getting a lot of fluid build up in her arm and in her back and around the site of where she'd had the breast removed. And something like some lymphatic drainage massage would be a huge benefit to her. She just can't afford it. She just couldn't afford to get the care that would really help her heal. And I find that heartbreaking that all of this stuff's available, but you just can't get it if you find yourself in a lifestyle or a time in your life in a situation where you just can't pay for it. And this lady also only worked part-time around her kids going to school because they were quite young. And so with her not being able to work, and it was casual, no sick pay, no holiday pay, nothing like that. She was, facing really, really hard times to try and care for herself. And she had a lot of treatment coming. She's in for chemo and radiation and all sorts of things. And she's, gonna be doing it really tough, and that sort of stuff breaks my heart. Having been a single mum myself, I just can't imagine what it would have been like to face this sort of thing at the same time as you know, trying to make ends meet and trying to do the best you can by your kids. So just another observation about how this stuff just impacts your life. And you know, talking to these ladies, one of the nurses who looked after me after both surgeries, she was on both shifts. She was gorgeous. She'd had a double mastectomy herself, and she was 3 years out from her breast cancer. And she was telling me about the hormonal drugs, the one I've been told I need to go on, and you know, just the side effects of that, and how for her, you know, the complementary therapies were vital and continue to be vital for her body to be able to cope with the intervention of the hormone therapy. So there's so much out there. So I am going to, once I feel a little bit better, I am going to get a little bit of crowdfunding happening. Like I said, to be able to help support myself a little bit, but to you know, try and support some of these ladies as well, who could just, you know, this lady who was in with me, who could have just benefited from a massage to help try and drain a bit of this fluid that was accumulating. You know, it's stuff that doesn't need to happen. So once I'm back on my feet, give me a few days, get the mojo back up again, get a bit of rest, and we'll have a talk some more about this. So we'll chat soon.